Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tulsa Sound Podcast, episode number 6. I am your host, Mr. Eric, tonight, and I am here with my exciting and super co-host, Oscar Padron. Oscar, how are you?
Hey, welcome to the podcast. My name's Oscar Padron.
I'll
be your host this evening, and this is a Bushyhead special.
All right, yeah. What is a Bushyhead special, Oscar? Tell us about it.
Bushyhead is a wonderful festival in Kansas, Oklahoma, and we're here to talk about the festivities that happened last year, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the festival's lineup this year.
So there's going to be some stuff about last year.
Oh, there's going to be some amazing
and then there's going to be some stuff about this year.
Yeah, and we'll get into how you can volunteer for Bushyhead, how you can buy tickets for Bushyhead, whether or not you can bring your dog to Bushyhead.
Can you bring your dog to Bushyhead? That's the question.
Can you bring your dog to Bushyhead?
Well, that is excellent news. So, folks, we're going to not spend a lot of time yakking back and forth, but it has been a while since we've been on the air. Oscar, how have you been?
Man, it's been rough. We've been working really hard, doing a lot of big shows. Of course, the storm has taken all of Tulsa by
storm.
And, our hearts go out to the families that have lost things, and so much property damage around town. So many old trees are gone.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of trees. I know down in New Block Park, there's trees down there, cottonwoods that are 150 years old that are gone over. I'm going to collect some of that wood and build some Kachina dolls.
Oh, wow. I will report that the council oak tree is standing.
Oh, well, that's a great thing, because I would hate to have lost
Woodward
that.
Park. All those big old pecan trees.
Up with trees. Tulsa Sound Podcast says up with trees. Well, yeah, it has been crazy, I'll tell you. The power was out at my house for about 4 days. It was like working in a sweat lodge, keeping things together, but we've got it all going, and so we're ready for a festival, huh?
Absolutely. It's time to talk about Bushyhead, Mr. Eric.
You got it. Well, I tell you what, folks, we're going to jump out to a real quick break, and then we're going to be right back with our guest tonight, and we will talk a little Bushyhead action.
Absolutely.
This is the Tulsa Sound Podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Hi, I'm Mr. Eric, and we're back again.
Hey.
And tonight, we have special guests with us. Oscar, please introduce our special guests.
Yes, it is my pleasure to welcome to the Tulsa Sound Podcast my good friends Todd and Monica Gunter. How are you guys? You guys made it. You're here.
We're still without power, but it's all good.
Still without power. Most of Tulsa is
here,
right now, and we're lucky to be here in studio.
Air conditioning, thank you.
Yeah,
It is nice.
It does feel nice in here.
You know, we go all the way with our studio here. We've got air conditioning and heat.
Well, guys, I've been so excited to have you guys in the studio. I just want to go ahead and say that. Let's get into Bushyhead. It was, let me tell you, for me, just right off the bat here, it was a wonderful experience as a festival goer. It felt more like a private party, and it didn't really feel like the typical hustle and bustle that you get at a festival where people are grilled cheesing you to death, or you know, you've been there.
Right.
So I really liked the atmosphere. It felt like a private party. It was just great music, great friends. I got to tell you, the facilities were first rate, Mr. Eric.
I wouldn't expect any less. So, tell us, guys. Tell us how you started. Tell us about Bushyhead. How about that? Let's just go straight to the money.
Yeah.
Well, you touched on kind of the heart and soul of what we're aiming for is to create this intimate music lovers paradise where it's not too crowded, but yet it's also not filled with people who are yelling and screaming and talking during the time that people are playing music, because we have a music appreciation audience, and it's kind of spread grassroots through those folks, and they go back home and they say, hey, you got to come to this because it's really cool and intimate, and you have a very limited audience space. But it started, we'd had all kinds of musical events and people come and play for different parties and things out at our land. And in 2020, summer came around, we'd had months of shutdown, nobody's playing music, nobody's seeing music, and we had gotten into this habit of going to the Telluride Bluegrass Festival, and it got canceled in June of 2020, so we decided...
I already had the time off from work, so we said,
great.
Let's do this.
And a lot of our friends playing bands, you know, being in the Tulsa area and the Tahlequah area, and we just started calling friends. We're like, hey, you guys, I know nobody's having shows. You want to come out to our place and we'll rig up the stage and sound system, and
wow, that is grassroots.
And we just passed the tip jar around to make it happen.
Which was embarrassing.
Which was embarrassing because we didn't really get to pay the bands the way we felt like they should have been paid. And so the next year, again, the Bluegrass Festival normally was canceled. And so we were like, okay, we're going to do it again. But yet we want bands to get paid, and we want to bring in some other bands from outside the area that people maybe don't know or aren't familiar with.
I think that's the coolest thing, is that you're expanding. Years and years ago, I lived over in northwest Arkansas in Harrison. That's because I worked at Dog Patch USA. But when we
Dog Patch.
Here, let me hit up. Thank you. But there was a lot of groups over there at the time, and they would do these little things, especially down Buffalo River.
Right, yeah.
And it would be a very impromptu deal. I mean,
like
you
just old Booger County boogies, and
let's get some beer and go down to the river. And this is very much like that. And I know that looking at the pictures from last year that Oscar came home with, I'm like, man, this is really in the woods type of thing. I was,
we're very rural. There's no doubt about that. And we're in.
Cell phone reception is patchy.
Well,
yes. When you're at a festival.
Well, that's the whole thing. To remove the crazy distractions and to keep people focused on relaxing and having a good time. You know, a lot of stuff, man, these days, it's all about hype. We got the hype button here, you know, and living in that type of an environment, it does have a tendency to get a person kind of keyed up. And this sounds like a really fun kickback festival where you can meet a lot of cool people too.
Right. Well, we've tried to kind of stay away from the hype. Like we don't do a lot of advertising, because we don't want someone who's just like, oh yeah, let's go party in the woods.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
well,
we're looking for people who are music lovers and really appreciate, because we have a diverse kind of music. We're not a straight up bluegrass festival. We're not a straight up rock and roll festival. We have a complete mixture of everything from jazz to funk, folk, bluegrass, roots rock, reggae.
That's really cool.
Absolutely.
Here in a minute, we're going to go over some of those groups and stuff you've got coming in. Do you also have vendors and stuff, craft vendors coming this year?
You want to talk about Castro?
Oh, yeah. Right. So, yeah, we have a great friend, Angela Castro, and she's also who designed the poster this year, and it's lovely. She won the poster contest, and also she has her own unique style of art. It's very
she's vended all 3 years.
Yeah,
and she's from Arkansas.
Yeah, follow her on Instagram, folks. She's a great Instagram follow. Angela Castro.
Right.
Yep.
Artist.
And then we'll have Johnny Barton.
We'll have Rock and Roll Outlaw.
Right.
Concessions, and we're working on a couple of other food vendors. We'll have some natural medicine vendors. We try to keep things real environmentally clean. Like, we don't allow our food vendors to have plastic or styrofoam.
Very
the
good.
waste. It all has to be paper or compostable.
Cool.
We don't allow
You have a sustainable festival.
Yeah,
Well, we're working
we
towards
try
it.
our
As much as
best
possible.
to make it as sustainable as possible.
In the 21st century,
Yeah.
sustainable.
We try to keep generators to a minimum, and if you're going to have an RV generator, you have to have a special ticket that puts you in a camping area
excellent.
away from the regular campers, so they're not disturbed by noise of generators.
Nothing like a field of lawnmowers in the middle of the night,
And
I
it
say.
takes a thoughtful promoter to have these amenities for you, to have these separations. And I want to applaud you guys for that. That's something that a lot of people that promote festivals, staff festivals, just
Well,
as you guys, I see you guys as true music fans, and so you're coming at it from the perspective of a person that's attending the festival, which is something that a lot of big promoters forget along the way. They forget what it's like to be in the crowd.
Yeah. What do you guys do specifically towards that to keep folks safe when they're out there over the weekend? Do you have, because folks are going to say, well, we want to go out there. You have security and everything to, and
we have
facilities.
a 20-foot fence with machine guns all the way around.
That's it, folks. I'm on my way. Yeah, well,
No,
no one will escape. Get back inside the Bushyhead.
Hogan!
We have a security dog, B. He's really tight
All
security.
right. Well, that's really cool because I know that Oscar said that, it's kind of a family-friendly scene, too.
It's very
A lot of
family
folks-
friendly. We encourage that kids 18 and under are free because we think kids need to be exposed to
Sure,
music.
yeah.
And normally kids are not. The only place
Good
kids are
music.
exposed to music is on the radio
Right.
and at big pop
Right on,
shows,
right on.
and they can't get into a lot of the small shows where they're 21 and over.
You guys have cultivated an amazing family atmosphere, and part of the joy of attending the festival for me last year was watching the kids. Just watching all the activities that were in place for them, and they just seem to be busy and happy. And as an adult, you're just kind of shepherding the children. That's a great thing. It seems almost like a worry.
Well,
lifted.
and
I don't have kids.
It's a safe zone for
these
kids.
days, too, it is so expensive. I mean, let's face it, if mom and dad wanted to go to the festival, they'd have to find $400 or $500 or grandma to take care of the kids over the weekend. So this way, everyone gets to come and they can spend their money at the festival. Hey, yeah.
Absolutely. Get your Bushyhead T-shirt this year when you come out.
Bushyhead t-shirts
Oh,
coming out.
man. They look good.
Yeah.
They do.
That's beautiful. Well, I tell you what, we're going to jump back here real quick and take a quick break out. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about some of the bands that are coming Bushyhead this year. I have to be very careful to see. I can put my mic right on Monica, and it's I don't want to do that.
We'll be right back in a few minutes, folks. This has been the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. Thanks, kids.
Oh, boy.
I see we sparked one of these.
It runs over. It runs down these eyes of mine. Maybe when I was a little I'm walking here on the rusted nails with broken wings and battered sails. I told you I was leaving, but I'm probably telling lies. If only I could make it out to Denver, Colorado, then I'd book it out of St. and St. Paul. The corner of Satan and St. Paul. Now get me out of Satan and St. Paul.
Alright, so this is Oscar Padron with the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the folks.
Hi, my name is Elijah Paul Hackathorn. Play drums with Steve Waddell and the String Lifters. We're out here at Bushyhead Music Festival. It's beautiful. A lot of good music. Just met this gentleman, Oscar, here.
Howdy.
And, so just out here having a good time and listening to some music and talking about music. So what do you want to talk about, Oscar?
So we asked the question, what is the Tulsa Sound? What does that mean to you?
Well, see, I grew up, my dad has lived in Tulsa and played blues guitar for 50-something years.
Who's your daddy?
My dad's name is Randy Hackathorn.
Okay.
And he grew up, he played with Randy Crouch, he played with Steve Pryor, he played with all these guys.
Okay.
And really admired their playing. Even since I was a little kid, going back 30, almost 40 years.
Is your dad still with us? Is he still with us?
Yeah, he's still around.
I think I met your dad in Tahlequah at the Randy Crouch 4th of July thing.
So he used to play with Randy Crouch. He'd tell me stories about being on tour with Randy Crouch. And
awesome.
Some incredible stories, which we're not getting into that right now. But, yeah, but just... So when I think about Tulsa Sound, it means a lot to me because it has, from the time I was a baby, my dad played guitar in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and was exposed to all these, Steve Pryor, all these guys. And so my dad told me this story about Steve Pryor, said that there's this guitar player you got to check out. He's young, but he's really good. His name's Stevie Ray Vaughan. So they go see Stevie Ray Vaughan when he was 17 years old, when he was old enough to get into the bar. And he's a skinny little kid. Comes in there and he's playing the guitar with his teeth and slamming it on the ground and throwing it in the air. But he said he played the craziest blues guitar he's ever heard. And that's what he loves. He loves like old Tulsa, Mississippi blues. And then
Now fingers walk the darkness down and mine is on the midnight. Gather up the gold you found, you fool, it's only moonlight. You could try to take it home, your hands are turned to rubber. Gather up the gold you own, you fool. collapsing. Plant my feet and I bitterly breathe at the time that's passing. Breath I'll take, breath I'll give, and I pray the day's not poison. Stand among the ones that live in lonely indecision.
Held me for answers, 1 foot off the bed. Watching my own tracks, that's what you said. And all in a moment, it washed out to sea. But that's alright, babe.
So I'm Jordan Hale. I'm a bass player mostly in Tulsa. Make my living playing with as many bands as I can.
Who do you play with, Jordan?
So I play with King Cabbage, Nibble, Grasshopper, Dane in the Suit, Papa Foster and Red.
All right.
Ear Slips, a band called Snowbug. Yeah, like
all right.
as many things as I can.
All right.
And Monica Taylor, Travis Pike. To answer your question about the Tulsa Sound, I mean, we're getting a bit of it right now. There's Cucumber and the Suncans are playing, the way I understood Tulsa Sound when it was introduced to me as like JJ Cale.
Okay.
Like that's JJ Cale, Leon Russell, and like Paul Benjamin, the whole Colony crew. That's when I got to Tulsa and people were telling me about the Tulsa Sound. That's what I was checking out. That was kind of what I thought it was. And I think in general now I would just say it's fusion. It's like lots of stuff comes together. There's a definite dose of country and kind of folk in there, but then a lot of the stuff is just movie, it's like, country, blues, rock, funk, soul, rhythm, jazz, all kind of mixed in, and that's like one version of...
Absolutely. It's got a roots blues with a red dirt soul. We're not afraid to add funk and a horn section in Tulsa.
Yeah, right.
The Tulsa Sound means so many things to so many different people.
Absolutely, yeah.
And your answer was great. Some of the things I've heard about the Tulsa Sound is that it's a sound that's effortlessly cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great way of putting it. When I think of JJ Cale and I think of that, it's some of the grooviest shit, but it's cool. Like, they're not trying too hard. There's nothing over the top about it. It's just kind of like, this is what it is, and then it's like really good, There's this line in this old jazz tune called "It Ain't What You Do, It's the Way That You Do It," and there's the bridge. It goes, "You could try hard, it don't mean a thing. Take it easy, then your jive will swing." And it's like that. I mean, that's like a big life lesson there, where it's like if you're trying too hard, that comes across. That's in your sound.
That's right.
But if you're just like, whatever, got it, and then you play from there, that's a big part of it for me, I think.
Perfect, Jordan. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
My name's Oscar Padron. This has been the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Thank you, Bushyhead. Now let me ask you.
Not drawing. Was it fantastic?
Sometimes that occurs.
Come down here to Kansas, was it fantastic?
Yeah. My opining on what is the Tulsa Sound?
Yep.
Well, I always defer back to the way Jimmy Karski described it, which was a very cynical view, but people usually try two attempts to answer this question, either by focusing on the sound part, what makes up, the rhythmic or the melodic or whatever, or they try and answer it's just a scene, right, of this group of people in this basic time frame in this geographic location. But I tend to default to Jimmy Karstein's very cynical answer. It's a marketing term used to add value to a commodity, like any other marketing term, right? The music part is completely separate from any attempt to label it, is the way I feel about it. I think that's where he was coming from. And so I was persuaded by him because, to me, it's a distraction, right? Music should just be this thing that comes from the well, pure and unfiltered by anything, including your own concept of what genre you're in or what scene you're part of or where you're at on the charts, whether it's Americana or I think Texas has their own music charts.
They do.
So for those reasons, I tend to just look at it from the most pure place of it's just music, it's all rock and roll. If it's folk music, I want it to rock. Bluegrass, I want it to rock. If it's rock, I want it to rock. So, and there's a lot of overlap with the Red Dirt thing. Jimmy was playing with us about the time Red Dirt was becoming like a real subgenre, or it was being used that way. People were asking me what it means, Red Dirt music, which is much harder because the music is so much more diffused, right? The Red Dirt Rangers sort of brought the term into its most popular use, and they were a two-accordion Zydeco Tex-Mex band inspired by Augie Myers and Doug Sahm, right? That was kind of their thing. Medicine Show was also a Red Dirt band, and we started off as a Little Feat Grateful Dead cover band and moved into Hendrix and Merle Haggard and started writing our own songs. It just, stylistically, we're on different maps, but it's all the same genre, so I can't. Is that enough of an answer? That's as good as I can get.
That was Jimmy's perspective, but what does when Scott Evans
hears influential to me.
Right. Well, when you hear the term Tulsa Sound, what does that mean in the mind of your junior high mind? That word you heard, now you've lived it, you're in it. Tulsa Sound.
Well, I'll repeat Jimmy again. There's only two ways to play a shuffle. You can play, and I don't read rhythmic notation, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what he said. You can play a dotted eighth note, or you can play a triplet without the two. Right? And that both of those are going to give you that. And you can speed it up, slow it down, slur it. You can get the bass in front of or behind.
Well, then you got that sliding scale of that short eighth note. How short do you want it? Because it can be just a straight ahead swing.
Yep. You hear it a lot.
Or you can put that,
get it open.
The sound of a flat tire, somebody once said.
Blackwell kind of get on, because they romp
Somebody once said the Tulsa Sound is the sound of a flat tire. Or maybe it's defined by that Tulsa shuffle.
And it makes sense with the streets the way they are.
Well, his point was, people say, that Tulsa shuffle, but a shuffle is a shuffle is a shuffle.
I just disagree with y'all. I'm just saying there's lots of kind of shuffle. You got the Purdy shuffle, which is special.
Which isn't even a shuffle.
And that's not necessarily, but they all.
Yeah. I think that the labels are useful to an extent, but they're shorthand, and that the real deal is just in the sound. It's beyond concepts and labels. Yeah.
So when you started your answer, you said it's a community.
It's both of those things. Yeah. Like people, what I've noticed from listening to people answer the question is they either pick a lane or combine how the scene is this, right, which is people in a certain time frame and a certain geography of place, like Red Dirt came out of Stillwater, going all the way back to Ripley, and I think he was kind of the first dude.
Yeah, guys like Jesse Ed
Studios and
Jesse Ed Davis. Jesse A. Davis
had a song.
Predated even Ripley. So guys like Jesse Ed Davis. Tulsa guy, Red Dirt Boogie brother. I think he was from Norman, but he is part of the Tulsa Sound also. So, without all those elements, and somebody else said that the Tulsa Sound is something that's effortlessly cool. And I thought that was a good way to put it.
Well, lay back is a word that certainly fits.
Yeah.
It's not like, you don't get a whole lot of Red Dirt or Tulsa Sound songs that have that on the very front end of the beat, you know what I mean? The drums are usually a little more relaxed.
It's a bass player's responsible for the tempo and Tulsa.
You're right. You're right, absolutely.
Anyway, that's mine.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. I appreciate it. This has been Chris Foster. This has been Scott Evans. My name's Oscar Padron, and this is the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
He died and left his body to the bottom of the ocean. Now everybody knows that when a body decomposes, the basic elements are given back to the ocean. And the sea does what it ought to, and soon turns salty water. Not too good for drinking, 'cause it tastes just like the teardrop run round through a filter. And it comes out of a faucet, and it flows into a teacup, which is just about to bubble now. Think about your troubles.
Sunshine and rain, all it brings me is pain for the thought I had of living in the right time. Well, my mind is for sale, I swear it's done me well, but I can't promise that nothing's been or broken. Well, the mind of a man, it ain't in high demand if he can't back up every word he's spoken. Diamonds and gold, well, when I get so old that I can't see myself in love with sunshine. Sunshine and rain, all it brings me is pain for the thought I had of living in the right time.
Wow, that's a big one.
When I stand alone at night in the shadow of light that falls all around me, soft and willing. Well, the trees in the yard, they send their regard. The clock, it's just waiting on the killing. Sunshine and rain, all it brings me is pain for the thought I had of living in the right time. Oh, who's that? John Fulbright. Is that a new one? It's a John Fulbright song.
Oh, great.
It's an old one off of that thing he recorded at home all by himself. Remember that?
No, I don't.
It was called Buy Me, Buy Me.
just know the bears. The bears, the bears. They just know the bears. The bears, the bears. They just know the bears. The bears, the bears. They just know the bears.
And we're back with the Tulsa Sound Podcast live from downtown Tulsa, our exciting studios. Here I am with my co-host, Mr. Oscar, and we've got our best friends, and they, Todd and Monica
Gunter are here from Bushyhead.
Yeah. Ooh. Wait, where's the audience?
I tell you, Eric,
I'm paying you people a lot of money now. I expect some clapping when I say, thank you. All right.
Let's get into Bushyhead. So, guys, recently you've been on the road real quick to a punk rock festival. Todd's an old punk rock guy. Still is a punk rock guy. Eric's a punk rock guy. Who did you guys see?
I was a punk rock guy.
On your punk rock.
Well, Circle Jerks.
Circle Jerks.
No Effects.
No Effects.
No Effects.
Yeah.
Pennywise.
Yeah.
And what was that old girl band?
Oh, Bad Cop.
Bad Cop. They were great.
Wow.
Pennywise, Bad Cop. You see, last time I worked with No Effects was in '98 in Memphis, and I stole a golf cart for them.
That sounds about right.
So, and DMX wanted one too after No Effects got one, and I got them both golf carts. Anyway.
And you didn't even go to jail.
Now, Pennywise, that used to be Tim Curry's band, right? Oh, sorry.
The It Clown.
Boom. Sorry.
How was Pennywise? I've not heard of them.
They were great. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, they're about probably near as old as No Effects.
Yeah.
They're probably a 40-year-old band. And
the Pixies. They're in their 90s now.
Yeah, I mean, all the old punk rock guys like Eric are in their 70s, and so we just want to celebrate them while they're still here on Earth.
You know, technically, we did 2 festivals in the same weekend, and we hit Old Settlers Festival the night before punk rock in Drublic started, and saw Elephant Revival and the Wood Brothers and Twisted Pine, which is, if you haven't heard of Twisted Pine, they're an up-and-coming folk bluegrass transitional band.
Folk bluegrass transitional band. I like that.
Wow.
I like that. Eric is a folk metal violinist.
No, I'm
in his spare time.
Violence. No, you misread my bio. It said he's known to be violent towards violin players. Yeah. Well, let's recall last year's show a little bit.
Yes.
Oscar went to the show last year.
I got my face ripped, Mr. Eric.
You got your face ripped?
Ripped, and that's a deadhead term for, getting your mind wiped.
That's
getting
right.
Your clock reset. Getting your,
Well, I tell you what, right now, why don't we go take a look at a slideshow of some of this stuff from last year?
Absolutely. We've got some
Let's look
Bushyhead
at
going.
that. Let's look at that slideshow.
I got to talk about Man. I got to talk about Man.
Well, and we're back now. That was a great slideshow, Oscar. How did you take all those pictures?
Well, mushrooms. Mushrooms. And the Rock and Roll Caterer made us wonderful smoothies. I'm sure he'll hook you up. Just talk to him.
Rock and Roll Caterer, baby.
It was wonderful. That guy was full on. By the way, I watched him cook, and I could tell he'd been in service in some good restaurants. I could tell by the way this guy threw cheese on his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He was a real chef. I mean, you can tell. You can absolutely tell.
And he cares.
He does care, and he was a great guy. I wound up like talking to him, and just like hanging out, and then going back to his food truck, just talk to him.
Folks, you can spend your entire summer running around the country, going to places full of people that just don't care. But Bushyhead is a place where everybody's welcome and everybody's having a good time.
Oh, absolutely! It was a very family. It was a family party atmosphere, and that's something that's unique, very unique and wonderful.
It's actually really true. That, I mean, after the first year was so hard. Planning a festival like this, it's as small as it is, it doesn't even matter. You're like, wow, this is so much work. And I thought I was over it. And then after it was done, I mean, people were so, literally, it was the love that I got back from pouring my everything into it was what made it happen again. Because I said, man, Todd, this is hard.
Well, your everything was evident, and your everything is what it's going to take for it to succeed in the future.
Yeah,
your everything was evident last year. It was all over the festival. It was in the flowers at the foot of the stage. It was in the clean restrooms, which, by the way, there were plenty of.
Yeah.
More than plenty of clean restrooms available. Lots of water available. They have a real stage at Bushyhead. This isn't a stage that's brought in and set up.
You mean this stage isn't built by the pallet company?
Right. No, it's not built by
There's no flatbed trailer out there?
Let me mention something.
Did we bring in the lecture
too.
net from the
They
Bureau
have
of Indian
real
Affairs?
electric set up out there, and it's not a generator. This took considerable effort, investment, time, and they're doing it right. They're planning for the future.
We have to say right now, all of that is due to Donnie Wood and Red Cat Audio.
Oh, yeah. Our good friend Don Wood.
Made all of that power situation happen.
Donnie and I have been friends for
amazing.
30 years. He is amazing. He's very much like Mr. Eric. You guys are kind of two peas in a pod.
Uh-oh.
Actually. Yeah.
That poor bastard.
That poor Bottlesville bastard. So, Donnie did an amazing job. I knew he was recording last year. Have you guys had a chance to hear his mixed down version of last year's recordings?
No.
All right, Donnie, you need to get them a copy of that stuff. Toot sweet, buddy. Red Cat did a wonderful job on the lights last year. They did a wonderful job on the sound. The monitor mixes were exquisite. And the way I know this is because I watched the faces of the musicians during their performances.
Yeah.
They weren't leering for the monitor guy. They weren't looking over their shoulder. They weren't wondering. They weren't like lost children.
They weren't throwing things at the monitor guy.
No.
They weren't throwing the children of the monitor guy into
very
a fire.
much under control. He had happy customers on stage.
That's
basically,
excellent.
if you're a monitor guy, you're a short order cook. This guy wants no onions. This guy wants extra cheese. You've got to deliver that in an audio fashion for them, as required, on the spot, as needed. And Red Cat was able to do a fantastic job last year. I can't say enough good things about Donnie and his crew. And I know that he does things right. The electricity impressed me. The fact that you guys have that stuff built.
Yes.
It's there
God for electricity,
on.
ladies and gentlemen.
And I know what an expense that can be, and I know what a headache it can be, and the permits involved, and all the things you guys had to do. I just want to applaud you for that effort, because it's Herculean. And for people that don't know, that just come to a festival and think, no, man, it's an effort to get the porta-johns there. It's an effort to get everything you see in place to make it a wonderful experience for you. And that's something that Todd and Monica do out of the love of their hearts. You're not going to find that at another festival.
The only thing it's easy to plan at a festival is the thunderstorm, because it's like on automatic order. It just shows up from the warehouse. Have you guys have any weather problems last year?
We had some rain, but luckily we were quickly to adapt to it, and we have we only sell 500 tickets, so it's a pretty small amount of people, about, less than half the size of Canes. And we have a good-sized metal building barn that we keep cleared out, which is normally the artist green room and area, but we quickly transferred it to the stage area for the
inclement weather set.
Yeah, it was actually really cool because Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey was on stage, and they were playing a very great large stage set, and then we went, whoop, switch, there's water dripping on instruments, and which we will prevent that this year. And we switched up, and then it was like this super intimate
And it was the first time they played
Totally
together in
different
14
sound.
years. What a wonderful serendipitous moment for any festival goer last year at Bushyhead was to be able to walk in there, and there's Jacob Fred doing what they've done all over the world right there in a barn in Oklahoma.
That's great.
Reed Mathis was looking great. He sounded great. The guys were in tune. They were jamming together.
They're back into it. They've been playing shows since then. And
that was good to see those guys getting along.
They came back to Tulsa and played since then. It's been great.
Yes, they have. I've noticed.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the groups that we're going to see this year at this year's festival, and give us a little bit of background on the different groups that we're going to be seeing.
So, like we said, all of this kind of started out of going and then not going to Telluride. And we've met a lot of bands and a lot of people from all over the world and country from going there, and we try to base the sneaky events we have at Bushyhead off the little shenanigans that happen in the campgrounds at Telluride. Right. So last year at Telluride, Elephant Revival was supposed to play the great 7 o'clock evening set on Saturday. They had to cancel their show, and so they pushed up an earlier band, Big Richard, into the 7 o'clock set.
Just say that once more. Big Richard.
Big Richard. They're a country music band from Oklahoma. Their music is typically
they're from
red dirt
Denver.
Country. Oh, they're from Denver.
They're from Denver. They're 4 girls.
High energy performance.
Big Richard.
Yeah, Big Richard is 4 women.
4 women.
Cello player has played in Nathaniel Ratcliffe's band. They're all, and she's a doctorate in cello.
She was in Pelican.
She was there last
She was
year
at
with Pelican.
Pelican, yes.
I was very impressed with
so
that young
we
lady.
figured out last year that 3/4 of half Pelican equals 1/2 of Big Richard.
Okay.
No, 3/4 of Big Richard is 1/2 of half Pelican.
There it is. Sorry.
There you go.
1/4.
Well, anyway.
No, that's not right. That's not
1/4 of Joy
So Big
Division
Richard blew away
What was 1/4 of Joy Division?
Telluride
Dead.
and became like the darlings of the festival. And as soon as we ended the festival last year, I called Joy from Half Pelican and was like, we got to get Big Richard. I mean, it was only like 3 days after the festival ended, and I was like, we have to get Big Richard to come next year. Please, how do we do it? And she's like, get hold of this guy.
She told me she skis down mountains on that cello.
Yes.
Oh, you haven't seen
Her-
that?
She's done them all
She and her
over
husband
the world.
on
Her
his
man
fiddle.
name in Big Richard is Ski Boy.
Yes.
Let's take
Ski boy.
let's take a look at that footage right now.
Oh my God. Yes. She was impressive. Not only just she was,
Oh, that's blowing my mind to see that. Oh, that's wild.
So last year, I got my face ripped, and we were talking about this earlier, and what that does to you. It reset my clock, and the band that did it was Man Man.
Oh, yeah.
Could you tell Mr. Eric and I how did you find Man Man? Does
This
Man
is
Man
a
have
really
to find
embarrassing
you?
story, actually.
Does Man Man
because-
have to find you?
So you know how whenever you get a good friend and then you like have a little bit, you have overlapping music taste, but then you have some different ones too. So you're like, oh hey, I love this band, you know them, and they're like, no, hey, you're like make them a tape. So we did that with each other when we first got together, and so Todd introduced me to a bunch of awesome bands like Built to Spill and Modest Mouse and whatever. So I'm like, oh, you know Man Man, and he's like, Man Man. And so I give him a CD to listen to. This is back in the day of CDs. And I give him a CD to listen to, and he's like, this band sucks. And so then we're going to Bonnaroo, and Todd is a music geek to the max. Like, he's going to listen to every band that's playing the festival. So he goes through the list, and he's like, hey, I got to show you something. I get home from work one day, and he's like, I got to show you something. And it's a Man Man video. And I'm like, yeah, I tried to show you this band 2 years ago, and you said they suck.
Now, for the audience at home that wasn't at Bushyhead, we do have some of Man Man in this special. Tell us about Man Man. Tell us what is Man Man? So for the people at home that don't, for Mr. Eric that doesn't know.
You know,
I don't know.
Fender Rhodes driven eclectic music where most of the band switches instruments. There's multiple percussion. There's usually multiple horns and synthesizers and keyboards and
then there's a great stage presence of some kind of dress up and
there's usually
kind of
his guitar player was wearing a Jerry Garcia hat, and I watched that guy, and he was clean in his playing. ooh, and I felt healthier after I watched it. It was that kind of clean, yeah.
And they're rowdy. And their lyrics
the
are...
The xylophone player was, captivating me. I mean, this guy it was just fabulous. The whole thing. The songs are catchy.
And I mean, this is the sort of stuff that you're just not going to go down to the club this weekend and find.
No.
Walking through the door.
He was doing a call and
what are
response
the opportunities
with the crowd,
to see stuff like this?
He had his goat
You guys
sacrifice.
have really mentored some cool
The guy
stuff.
sacrificed a goat, Mr. Eric.
There's pictures.
Oh, yeah.
We have pictures. It was
curry goat and rice. I'll tell you
It
what.
was a lot of fun. The guy knows how to lead a crowd and to keep the people entertained and
conga lines.
Well,
without
no
conga line. No conga line needed.
This was,
one
it was
time,
almost like he would challenge the crowd to have a good time. I mean, this guy was.
They have a song named.
It's as punk rock as like a full, almost jazzy orchestrated band could be.
Where are they out of? Where the hell is
they originated out of Philadelphia, but they're based out of LA now.
Yeah.
Because they had organ plates, and I was like.
It's probably just the rental.
Just the rental.
Just the rental, mate. Who else are we going to see?
Last year, we're going to talk about last year.
Oh, last year.
Yes, or Cable Kill Us.
Sorry,
one of the things that was a moving moment for me was to watch John Fulbright play. And to watch the audience reaction. I saw women in tears. I saw grown men. And this welder was crying at John Fulbright doing his stuff, and Jesse was accompanying him, and it was just Jesse Aycock. It was ethereal. Yeah. Is the only way to describe it. It was he puts you in the emotion that he's describing, and it's almost inescapable. And there are a lot of people that. It's so emotionally impactful that he's creating a large underground audience, here in the state and around. John Fulbright is a force of nature, and it was such a wonderful thing. Where did you guys first encounter John Fulbright?
Woody Guthrie Festival.
Yeah, he played out in the campgrounds at Woody Guthrie. He's from Okemo.
Oh, he is from Okemo.
Yeah.
See, I thought he was from Idabel for some reason.
Well, that's my understanding. But
no, he's from Okemo area.
Okay.
And,
he just shows up with his guitar and to tune with all these people in the campground.
No Okemo boy, no Idabel boy.
That's true. That's true.
Don't go to Idabel.
Pop your boy.
But he, Brad Absher had an interesting quote about Fulbright. He said, "Man, Fulbright showed up ready."
Yeah.
As far as showing up to the Tulsa Sound music scene, that cat showed up ready. And we've had the privilege of watching artists develop over years of time in the Tulsa Sound scene. Mm-hmm. These days, Mr. Eric, you got to show up ready. That's all.
Was there ever a day when you didn't have to show up ready?
Well, you know who else played last year who showed up ready?
You're right.
Johnny Mullinex.
Johnny Mullinex, who has been,
we hear that name a lot here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
So we've been enjoying his Sunday bluegrass brunches down at the Mercury. I've run into you guys there. If anybody hasn't seen Johnny Mullinex and Thomas Trapp do this wonderful collaborative bluegrass brunch thing, and everybody's playing. Jake Lynn's playing. Chris Combs is playing. It is a who's who of the band. So get down there, see Johnny Mullinex, experience a bluegrass brunch. Check for videos on this podcast channel, and you'll get the lowdown. Check it out there. You can see it yourself before you go. I recommend going. Go to see Johnny Mullinex.
Go to see Johnny Mullinex. Is he going to be at the show this year, do you think?
Not this year. So what we try to do is not have repeat performers.
Okay.
Though every year now we have had one repeat performer.
So that would be known
kind
as
of a special thing.
Special returning guest.
One, because every year they have been screwed in one way or another, either by the band playing before them going too late and everybody going to bed before their set time, or the rainstorm coming in and they having to play
that is cool.
into the barn and not on the main stage. So Knipple is our one returning band. They played all 3 Bushyheads.
Wow.
So I'm a little bit confused about Knipple. Is Foster trolling us all? What is happening with Jordan?
Well, we don't even know. We booked Knipple. We may end up getting Gnipple.
Gnipple instead of Knipple.
You never know. I mean,
which is better for your heart.
They could show up with a 4-piece. You don't even know.
I watched what they did on Channel 8, and I was at home going, guys, what the hell, Jordan? What's going on? And I was, oh my God. Then I realized I had been masterfully trolled. And so, cheers, kudos.
Kudos.
People for their Channel 8 performance this week. So that was great, guys. One of the things that I really took away from Bushyhead was the Native American greeting in the morning. And she was wonderful. What was her name?
That was Alexa Dawson.
Alexa Dawson.
Kansas State.
Kansas State. And Bushyhead is held in Kansas, Oklahoma.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing.
A little bit confusing. I actually thought it was near the Kansas state line. It's actually near the Arkansas state line.
Now, Oscar, if you watch The Rifleman, you would know these facts.
Which episode?
Well, all episodes. Where's North Fork? Where's Enid? Come on, man.
One of the great things about Bushyhead last year was just the variety and the things to do. I enjoyed the nature walk and the explanation of the local flora. That was great.
That's awesome. That's thanks to our good friend Michael Hudson, who's a great right-hand man.
He knew what he was. Michael Hudson. He knew what he was talking about, and it was informative. And it was a free thing you could do. Great activity, a sober activity.
Yeah,
something
if
nice.
You want.
If you want. But it was nice. It was nice to have that option, And the yoga tent was rocking every morning, and I'm sure it'll be bigger and better this year. I'm excited.
One thing bigger and better this year that we will be utilizing the yoga tent for is we will be having night shows separate from. So we end the main stage right around 11:30 midnight every night. Just kind of give our neighbors a break.
Sure.
Them.
So then we're going to move into the tent to have a little smaller, intimate late night shows. And so this year we will have Dr. Jr., Jared Tyler, and Knipple.
Oh man, Jared Tyler.
Or Knipple, I don't know. But that's going to be our 3 late night acts.
Bob Wiles turned me on to Jared Tyler years ago, and what he said about Jared Tyler was, he's a hell of a side man. He'll make a good front man one day. And I remember Bob Wiles saying this about Jared Tyler, probably about 1993 or 4. And I've been looking out for him and watching his growth. He wrote a song called Fort Gibson Lake. Gibson Lake that makes me cry every time I hear it. It's near and dear to me, and I told him I'd tell him why.
Does that song say something about cutting your foot wide open? Because that's what happens at Fort Gibson.
Well, there's pop tops all over Fort Gibson Lake.
Well, you know that.
You dropped your beer in the lake and sank it.
I hear the Nazis did that in World War II.
It was called the 70s, people. We didn't know any better.
I hear the Nazis mined the lakes with pop tops back in '44.
I really enjoyed Jared Tyler. He's an earnest songwriter. He's one of our red dirt songwriting treasures in our state, and the fact that you guys have him makes my heart happy. That you guys are going to have him out this year. Guys, don't miss Jared Tyler at Bushyhead coming up this October. Get your tickets. And how can people get tickets to the Bushyhead Festival?
Well, our tickets are sold on events.com, so you can go to events.com and look Bushyhead Fall Festival, or you can type in Bushyhead Fall Festival into any search unit, and you will come up with a link to the ticket size.
You guys are in Jambase also, right?
We're in Jambase.
So Bushyhead is in Jambase, and all the heads know exactly what that is. If you're a Fish fan, if you're an Humphreys McGee fan, if you're a Grateful Dead fan, if you're a Dead & Co fan, you know what Jambase is. Get on Jambase and get the lowdown for Bushyhead. It's all there, folks.
There you go.
There. And we will provide a link to Jambase for you at the end of this broadcast.
There
Absolutely.
You go. Well, we're going to jump out another quick one and take another quick break, and then we will be back in just a few minutes with more Todd and Monica, more Bushyhead.
Bushyhead special.
More crazy Tulsa Sound Podcast. Episode 6 coming at you. God bless you. We'll be right back. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
It's consensual in this song. And an expression of love. With that said, where does it even come from? This paradise awakens you in the middle of the night. Drives this fear of dying on the vine again. Like a clergyman from the sticks, he found Satan 69.
Good. Hang in April.
Welcome back to the Tulsa Sound Podcast. We are here live tonight with our friends Todd and Monica from the Bushyhead Festival, my co-host Oscar Padron, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the incredible talent we're going to be seeing this year.
Yeah, we're revisiting last year's Bushyhead, and what a wonderful time it was. Let's talk about Jordan Hale. Can we talk about Jordan Hale?
Let's talk about it.
So Jordan Hale, this young man's incredible. A creative force. Guys, luck out. Go support Jordan Hale. Visit him at Park Grove. Those kids are doing some wonderful things there. Where did you guys first run into Jordan Hale?
I first saw Jordan playing stand-up bass with Grasshopper, I think at their CD release party at the Bishline Banjo.
Okay.
And I was like, who is this guy? You know, because it's just one of those guys that's just obviously, you know, a step above. And, you know, I bet he's played in 12 different bands that have played at Bushyhead over the years.
So he's an all-star Bushyhead.
He's an all-star. He's played bass,
all-star.
he's played drums, he's played guitar, he's played synthesizer, you know.
He sits in with everybody.
Yeah.
He's part of King Cabbage.
He sold hot dogs down there.
You know, he plays with everybody. I've seen him sitting in with Grasshopper, of course, Cassie Latshaw. I've seen him around town.
You know, a good bass
just
player can name his
formerly
paycheck if he really wants.
Formerly in Count Tutu, and they're going to be at this year's festival.
Yes, Count Tutu. Tell us about Count Tutu. Now, I have a little bit of something that I don't know much about Count Tutu, but I did.
But he's going to check his notes right now.
I have my notes here.
Checking,
Count Tutu is a funk band, right? They are funk.
They're from Tulsa. They're Tulsa Sound, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real deal.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm embarrassed. Count Tutu, forgive me. I'm just.
I have seen them
I'm just a simple man. Count Tutu. So they're infectious. And
I saw them
high energy
at like
kind of
a Hop Fest a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
And the stage was over there by downtown Coney, the new downtown Coney. And the Big Hanson stage was there.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that Count Tutu has played every stage in Tulsa.
Not to talk about a band that'll get you up and moving. They have their energy and they have a presence
what
that
I've heard
is
about
amazing.
them is infectious grooves.
Yeah,
I call
for
it
real.
island funk.
Yeah.
Okay,
you know,
who's
it's
in the
very
band?
smooth.
Anybody's name?
Well, Brand J is the female vocalist, and then Nathan Wright is the guitarist and male vocalist, main male vocal. Then there's some backup vocals for sure, and
full horn
they have
section, double percussion.
What's interesting about them, you never know what they're going to bring.
It's a big band.
Okay.
Yeah, they bring like 10 piece, and you don't know who all. They could have cello, they could have brass, they could have whatever, and then Brain J just dances like a maniac. She is amazing, and she has a smooth jazz to like a. I don't know. She's
like a hip funk.
She's awesome.
This actually sounds like something you'd enjoy, Mr. Eric.
I work with them every year with Oak
and they were in the Tulsa Ballroom.
Well, and bits and pieces of that group then are Divas for Hope, which is a big thing that the Tulsa project for. Divas for Hope. That's it. I'm sorry, folks. I'm having a brain fart. We'll fix that in the mix. But anyway, it's a big musical show. Usually happens in October at the convention center. And this year, but it'll be a lot of the same musicians there.
And Count Tutu is, in my opinion, 100% Tulsa Sound.
Yeah.
You know, they're original. You can't describe it. Just like you can't describe the Tulsa Sound, you can't describe what Count Tutu is. And I say island funk, but it's, I could say aggressive island funk, or like,
politically charged.
Their activism.
I like that.
Hoppy Houseman.
Positive, but they're amazing.
Okay.
Dancehall pandemonium. Yeah. We'll add reverb to that later.
And no mention of Babylon will be Babylon. Used in this podcast.
Babylon is gone, Panemon.
You know, my good friend Scott Hutchinson would often warn me about the dangers of Babylon. And
Aye.
I know Scott's watching. And hi, Scott. So anyway, let's talk about Joe Mack. Man, that guy is salt of the earth. Solid individual, Joe Mack.
Joe Mack is a solid individual. Joe Mack is 100% part of how Bushyhead has come about, evolved, gotten better. He's the guy I call when I'm like, hey, what do you know about this?
I thought you called him the round mound of sound.
Well, that's what he
so
calls himself.
So in Spanish you say, se me caigo bien, which means he fell on me well.
Abraya.
And when I met this man, he fell on me well. Me caigo bien.
Yeah.
So,
the very first time we had the pre-official Bushyheads, he provided the sound system with him and James Townsend, who also played one of the first Bushyheads.
Well, yeah. But Joe is just an amazing human. I mean, you know, he kind of revamped the whole music scenes that started at the Colony.
Okay.
You know, back around probably 2006 or 7 when they weren't really having a whole lot of music.
No, they were the foreplay for years before that. I used to have a cheesecake shop 2 doors down, and Charlie Brackett used to manage the foreplay. Hi, Charlie. See you out there. And we're glad to see what's happening at the Colony. Of course, their 12-year anniversary with Paul Benjamin is this Sunday night.
Wow.
So get out there and do the Sunday night thing. Go see Paul Benjamin. It's going to be a blast. He'll have lots of special guests. And I know it's going to be an important milestone in your summer. So don't miss it. As a Tulsa Sound music fan, be out at the Colony.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, Oscar, it's come that time of the Tulsa Sound Podcast where we do what we do with all of our Tulsa Sound Podcast guests, where we ask them the question,
the ubiquitous question.
What is the Tulsa Sound to you? How would you describe the Tulsa?
Oh, I knew this was coming.
Well, it is in our anyway. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, well, what do you think?
You know, I'm going to start off with the same thing everybody says, is that you can't describe the Tulsa, you can't label the Tulsa Sound or pigeonhole it. But I think the Tulsa Sound mostly is about location and history, and, you know, having a respect for both of those things.
Right.
And so, you know, the location of Tulsa, you know, puts us in this place that's kind of between this Texas country sound and this Kansas City, Chicago jazz sound, and this Western.
The Western
you
effect.
know, the old guy and the guitar all by himself
Heavy
out
swing,
west.
Heavy Western swing.
Yeah.
And then this hillbilly thing kind of in the southeast, and we're kind of right in the middle of it, and then
Texas
polka,
everything. Yeah. Well, that's, you know, we ask this question because everybody kind of has a different philosophical idea of what that question means, and it's cool that you describe it in these sort of humanist terms. That's an observation of where the sound gets its roots. You know, where it comes up from. And that is true because tradition is a big part of it. That's why the King's Ballroom never died.
That the current sound comes from the respect of those things, of the history of music here, and the fact that just the location of where we are influenced what that music was and is. But the people who are playing it now, you know, they're not trying to emulate or, you know, recreate what happened in the past.
Right.
They just learned from it and now are doing their own thing. And it just so happens that what they learned and where they are and what the influences are around here makes this kind of weird thing happen.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. I'm more think about that when I think about the Tulsa Sound is like there's a really great variety of like overcrossing, you know, diversity in music with that's kind of twisted all up together in a way that you might not expect, and especially from like what people think of like Oklahoma
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, don't you have like cowboys and Indians out there?
Yeah,
like,
you know.
Do you guys even have cars?
Well, I tell you, the mosquitoes were bad in my teepee last night.
But also, I think also one of the things about Tulsa Sound that's amazing is, and it really interesting is like, you just turn around and there's somebody just fantastic who can play. Like we mentioned Johnny Molinax, but then there's other ones like Jordan Hale and Cassie Latshaw.
Scott Evans, Chris Foster, Dane Arnold, who I saw last year at Bushyhead. The kid is impressive, Mr. Eric. Yeah, he is an old soul in a young man's body, and he is an amazing artist. And he will be a guest shortly and soon on the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Look for Dane and the Soup.
You better make him sing.
In the studio, we're going to have Dane, and yes, of course, Dane, you're going to sing when you come.
You don't have to make him, I don't think.
Well, of
hold
course,
him up to gunpoint.
And of course, I want to mention too that we're sort of planning. This will be after summer, probably in fall, to have the first annual Tulsa Sound Podcast concert ourselves. We're just starting to work on the idea. But the thing is that we know a lot of folks and a lot of friends, and we'd like to kind of pull it together around the show. So we'll definitely have you guys in on that. Anything else on Bushyhead tonight, Oscar?
Yes, I wanted to ask Todd and Monica. Todd, Monica, can I bring a dog to Bushyhead?
Well,
or can festival goers bring their dog to Bushyhead? Because I'm not going to bring Finnegan. He's got to stay home with Mom.
Is your dog a certified rescue dog?
So certified service dogs can attend if they're with an owner in need of a service animal.
If they're with an owner in need of a service animal, on leash, and preferably dogs that do not bark.
Right, right.
Not preferred.
And if somebody wants to volunteer, how do they sign up to volunteer for Bushyhead?
Well, they can send an email to me, which is toddish10@yahoo.com. It's down there at the bottom of the screen.
All right, toddish10@yahoo.com for volunteers. It's a wonderful opportunity, yeah.
Now, Todd and Monica, can I bring my angry elephant to Bushyhead?
Well, if you have an angry elephant, you can bring it along because we encourage weird, exotic animals.
You know, Stompy's a nice animal, but he gets a little excited sometimes.
If you got a lion or a tiger that you could bring out, we could set up next to the stage.
You know, as the
we need some help setting up the circus tent
as the
so the elephant
of the,
will come in handy.
The Atlas Life building, Mr. Eric does have a pet flamingo, as he is the flamingo of Florence Avenue.
That's right, one leg, baby. I do it on one leg.
He's the Prattville Peeper.
Well, I'll tell you what, this has been great. I am so glad that you guys dropped by tonight. I know that it took us a few minutes to kind of get everything up on here in the studio. You guys were excellent guests, and especially because you're so patient with our
we've worked with artists before.
Thanks.
Try it.
Boom! But no, we're really, seriously, we're so glad you guys got to come by, and we're going to get this out quickly so we can make sure that we get as many of our followers and friends turned on to Bushyhead. I know if you're running into people that don't know, I know that a lot of folks out there are going to say,
we are
this
going
is a
to
cool
help
thing.
Spread the message. So like and share this podcast with your festival-going friends. Send it to their inbox. Let them know about Bushyhead. It is a family gathering. If you are a true Tulsa Sound music fan and you are into new and exciting bands that you've never heard of before, national acts, folks, come out to Bushyhead. Support the effort. This is a grassroots festival. This is something started from a place in their hearts, and I see the effort. They're facing a lot of challenges in the modern era with promoting a festival, challenges that promoters I've worked with in the past never had. You guys have a lot of challenges with the online space, which Larry Schaefer never had to deal with. All he had to have was a pocket full of quarters and a payphone to make his dream happen, and you guys are putting in a Herculean effort again on this thing, and I just want to celebrate that and thank you guys for all your hard
Yes,
effort.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. The kids are going to have a great time. Come out to
Audience,
Bushyhead.
what do we say? Come on. That's right.
Bushyhead
Our audience
Fall
loves you
Music
up there.
Festival.
Listen to it.
Wonderful
It's crazy.
time. Good food, good people, great location. The leaves are falling. I just see it in my mind's eye right now, and I'm there.
Yeah. So remember, folks, the reason that we bring you this show is to bring you this sort of stuff. We want everybody in Oklahoma to know, number one, how great we've got it. And especially here in northeastern Oklahoma with festivals, bands, clubs, I will go on the record to say it's better than it's ever been, to the best of my young memory.
It is better than it has ever been.
To my young memory. But we want to support what's going on and make it better and better each time. And here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast, that is exactly what we're here to do. Bring you everything that there is to know about the Tulsa Sound and to let you know when it's happening, where it's happening, why it's happening, and how it's happening. So anyway, Oscar.
Hey, thanks for watching the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
Tulsa Sound Podcast.
Mr. Eric,
the Bubblecast
Mr.
here, the Dinklecast.
For myself, for Todd and Monica.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Todd and
watching.
Monica, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for what you do.
Next,
Oh, and of course,
for Dane and the Soup to come on the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Look for them coming up soon.
okay. So that's it, folks, for tonight. We'll see you next time on the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
My sweet little baby done me wrong again. Oh, having my sweet angel alone with my friend. I got strong, drunk, and naked. Foolishness won't end.